At Activision's Call of Duty Next event, DMZ finally went from a huge rumor to a very big reality. But will it be the Extraction Royale Tarkov Killer that everybody thinks it's going to be? Spoiler, no, but kind of. I wanted to split this video up into a few different portions. One portion is going to be the actual facts that we have based on that presentation and some other interviews they've done. The other portion is going to be some rumors I've seen on Twitter, a few of them anyways. And then there's going to be my personal speculation on the game. But for you to understand an Extraction Royale, we should probably talk about the most popular ones so you understand. And from my perspective, it's going to be Tarkov I'm going to be talking about here, because I don't know much of Hunt Showdown, even though I know it's very similar in a way, but I'm sure that a lot of this also applies. But an extraction-based Royale shooter, whatever you want to call it, is just a game where you go into a map and extract. That is all it is, but then they add their own flavors to it. Escape from Tarkov has a lot more realism flavors to it, such as healing animations. Like, I mean, look at this healing animation and tell me that this isn't some realistic shit. You actually are doing surgery on yourself. But they also have more realistic weapon mechanics, such as gun jammings.
My gunshot! My gunshot! My gunshot!
You have to actually load your magazines. I'm talking like load ammo into the magazines, not just put it into the gun. You are loading ammo into the magazine, then putting it in your gun. Usually do it in your hideout, but a lot of times you use that ammo in raid and have to reload magazines. That is a very cool feature. That is a very realism-based feature. All of these things come together to make a very realistic extraction-based Royale. The extraction portion of it is that you get in and you get the fuck out. If you don't get out, then you lose all of your shit. That's basically, like, on a very basic level, what that means. And I think that DMZ is on its way to becoming one of the top of them. Will it overtake Tarkov? Yes, in player count. I will say that. In realism, probably not. It's probably going to remain king of somewhat realism. You can argue all day and night about the armor system and how it's not realistic or whatever, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about DMZ. So here's the true facts. Fact number one, DMZ will be played on Warzone 2's map. You know that huge map that they showed us during that presentation? It will be played across that whole map, supposedly. They said that it would be playing on that map, but I kind of have this feeling that they might split up portions of it. But there's also a speculation towards the end of the video that might say otherwise. So stay tuned for that. There will be objectives / tasks. Tarkov has objectives / tasks that you do. Some of them are, you know, time sensitive objectives that don't really matter towards your progression. They just give you more money and more XP. But then there's also ones that actually progress the storyline, that give you more weapons and items. And we'll talk about more of that towards the later portion of the video during some of my personal speculation. You get to make your own game in DMZ. DMZ is a sandbox type experience. It's still an extraction-based Royale, but you do everything that you want to do. If you want to completely avoid anybody in the map, you know, AI players, you can do that because it's your sandbox. But just know that other people might be doing those tasks and everything. The game is not forcing you to fight, but other people have their objectives to do that might conflict with yours. So just always remember that you are not always in charge of your own sandbox, but you can be to an extent. And that's kind of the difference between that and Warzone, where Warzone will force you to fight people with that closing zone. This will not. You have probably a certain amount of time that you can get out of the map. And if you don't get out of the map in that time, you just lose all your stuff. That is kind of a driving factor, but it's not as much as a ring coming to kill you. So you either kill people in front of you or, you know, die to the ring. The game will be extraction based, just like Escape from Tarkov. Just like I had talked earlier, Escape from Tarkov is extraction based. You go to a certain location, you get out of the map. I do believe that the extractions will have more depth in DMZ. That's kind of an interesting take on it. It'll be more of my personal speculation, but I want you guys to hear that too towards the end of the video. And then my final fact is that AI, according to Activision, will be reactive and lethal. They have kind of shown off some of their AI technology in a few TikToks and a few videos, as well as the presentation with Warzone, where some of the AI were absolute chads and some of them were little Timmies. Some of them were very tanky, some of them were not. And then some of them had different reaction levels where they would shoot back, you know, fairly decently, and some of them would just kind of take it. It just kind of depends. But that is apparently coming to DMZ as well. And that kind of leaves off on my facts I have based on the game and some rumors that have been circulating around. One of the rumors I have is that player count will be 100 players. This is a far cry from your typical extraction royale, where the player count is not very large. It's usually pretty small in comparison to like a battle royale like Warzone 2 that has like 150 to 200 people. This is way different. This is kind of game changing in a way where you might run into more people, but with such a big map like that, I'm not really entirely sure how much of a difference it makes to have 100 people, especially with what feels like the slower movement of Modern Warfare 2 compared to, you know, Modern Warfare or Vanguard or Call of Duty, whatever the fuck it was, Cold War. I think it might even out a little bit. I'm sure that TTK will be based off of armor levels, either where you can buy before the game or find in game. I'm not too sure about that. Nobody's really been talking about it, but that is one of the rumors I have heard. I do not believe that DMZ will have any type of healing even closely related to Tarkov. I don't believe you're going to be sitting in a building doing surgery and popping painkillers, you know, pre-painting before going into fights. I don't believe that there's going to be any of that. There might be like some stim kind of things in the game, but I don't really think you're going to have a lot of healing in-depthness like Tarkov has to that level anyways. I do believe, however, there will be a separate healing kind of thing going on, either bandages, kind of like Blackout had, maybe like the injector kind of things. I kind of see them going more realistic with it though, like with the bandages and maybe like a health kit and stuff where you have to sit in place and do it for a minute. But I don't see them doing it like Tarkov does, where you are cutting open your skin and putting your bone back into place, stapling yourself back up. I just don't believe that will be happening. In Escape from Tarkov, there are wipes that happen. They happen about every 6 months. So a wipe is when you lose all of your progress, and it's a way to keep the game fresh and exciting. And they usually add new content like new weapons, new maps, new objectives. Everything goes in during the wipe. I do not believe that DMZ will be getting wipes. Instead, we'll be getting seasons where you keep your progression, because I don't believe progression is going to matter as much in a game where you're just getting absolutely fucked if you don't have a certain gun or anything like you do in Tarkov. I don't believe that's going to be happening with this game. I think there's just going to be seasons like Warzone 2 has, where they're going to add more objectives. And I'm sure that they probably have already like 2 seasons out already made for all their new objectives, either timed or, you know, actual objectives to push the narrative that they're trying to push. I'm guessing that there's going to be new weapons added with each season and their own objectives that go to that to unlock everything. Speaking of weapons, I do believe they will be using the gunsmith system from multiplayer and Warzone 2. It's just going to have more Warzone 2 to it. If you don't know what that means, I'll actually put it up on the screen right now. You actually have to purchase your weapons in Warzone 2. I believe that will work the same, except for it will be before you go into the game. Unless if they have some kind of buy station where you can buy guns in game, but I feel like it would be extremely rare for people to do because they just possibly lose them while in game. I do, however, believe you'll be able to find guns around the map, either on AI or anything that might have some better attachments and everything on them. Because just think, everything that you bring into raid, you're probably going to lose on death unless they have an insurance system like Tarkov does, but you eventually get to a point where the insurance just costs too much. It's not even worth the time waiting 8 hours for your gun to come back. So I don't think that people will be using that system that much. You know, buying weapons in game and then, or in the actual, you know, Warzone 2 map and then losing them is kind of a waste of time. But I do believe they will be combining like the currency, you know, and objectiveness of it. Think about this. Think about there's a gun you really like. M4 is probably too standard, so let's go with something crazy like the Honey Badger. So you love the Honey Badger, but you can't get it yet because you only have the M4 unlocked because you haven't done any of the objectives. I'm sure that there will be a task line within the game that allows you to unlock the ability to buy the Honey Badger, and then the only thing that limits you from owning that Honey Badger is buying it each time you go between, you know, raids. But if you die with that Honey Badger, you lose it. That's kind of the idea here. And I'm sure that you will also have to do the same thing with attachments and everything, where you will have to do a certain task line to unlock that weapon attachment. My final speculation for the game is a big one for Tarkov. I do not believe that there will be any energy or hydration mechanics in the game. I do not believe you'll have to eat or drink. I don't think you're gonna have to play Tamagotchi with your character like you do in Tarkov. I think it's just gonna be pretty straightforward. You die, you go back to lobby, and then you create your new kit and go back again. They're trying to cater this to casuals as much as possible. And by adding these mechanics, you kind of lose the touch with your casual community. I don't think people would like if they had to sit there and feed and, you know, give water to their PMC, their character, between every raid because their metabolism level is not up. I don't think any of that will be prevalent in the game, but I would like to be wrong. I think some more, you know, non-casual things in the game might make it more interesting. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the game or what you don't want to see in the game in the comments below. Thank you for watching. My name is Cnox, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.